Hello, I am Wanderer001 and this is my review of the Amazon Echo Dot version 2. So you're looking at this primarily because, well, you are familiar with home automation or virtual assistants, and you've either seen the Google Home or Amazon Echo or Echo Tap. Well, this is the Echo Dot version 2. There are some differences between the original Echo Dot and the version 2. However, I did not get the original Echo Dot, nor do I have any other home assistants. This is the first one that I got, and primarily I did it because they had a flash sale on this Thanksgiving, so Black Friday of 2016. So it was on sale for $39, so $40. I picked up two of them, one to keep in my living room and one to keep in my bedroom. And even if you don't get this on sale, the normal price is $49, so you round that up to $50 on Amazon. For a home assistant, that is a really, really good price and very hard to beat. So let's talk about some of the general specifications of the Echo Dot here, too. You are looking at a width of 3.3 inches and a depth of 1.3 inches. If you want to think about it, you're pretty much looking at something that's the size of a hockey puck. Maybe a little bigger, especially this way. The Echo Dot has 7 far-field microphones in it, and I'll explain a little bit about that later. On the top here, you can see this white ring. This is actually a light that will light up, and I'll show you that in a moment. On the top, you also have buttons for mute, to activate the assistant, and volume up and volume down. Now, all of that can be done using just your voice, except for muting the device. I really wish that they would allow you to use a voice command to mute the Echo Dot here. I can understand why they don't, but I really would like to be able to just say, "Bubba, mute," and have it mute itself rather than coming over and pushing the button. I do understand that I would have to then come back and unmute it because it won't be able to listen anymore. That aside, the top, aside from the buttons, you do have the ventilated top there. This is so you can hear the built-in speaker. The side here does have the Amazon branding and is glossy. So it will pick up fingerprints, but thankfully you're not going to be handling this all too often. It does come in 2 different colors. This is the black variant. It does come in white as well. On the bottom there, you will notice a slightly rubberized bottom so that you can place it somewhere and not have it slide around. On the back, you do have 2 ports. You've got your micro USB port, which is for the cable that's included, and a 3.5 millimeter plug out so that you can connect this to a speaker system. It will also connect via Bluetooth, but if you wanted to hardline it, you could. So getting to what comes in the box, well, let's talk about the box itself. They really do kind of give you bare bones with the box. This is the box that it comes in. Normally, I don't show the boxes or do unboxings, but I figured I would show you this. This is the actual packaging for the Echo Dot. It comes with a 5-foot micro USB cable, so you'll be able to utilize that to power the device, as well as it comes with this wall plug. Now, the wall plug, in my opinion, is a little chunkier than I'd like it to be. It sticks out from the wall rather far, because you're looking at a dimension of 2 inches this way with a width of 1.5 and a depth of 1 inch. So this will stick out from your wall quite significantly, so do keep that in mind when placing the Echo Dot. Now, once you get it out of the box, setup is really simple, and by simple I mean
Hello. Your Amazon Echo Dot is ready for setup. Just follow the instructions in your Alexa app. You've connected to Echo Dot. Go ahead and finish the setup in your Alexa app.
As you can see, setup is really easy. And again, everything is hands-free. So all you have to do is say the trigger phrase, which can either be Amazon, computer, or what I have it set for, Alexa, and you could see it light up. You can also see right here, this is slightly brighter than over here. Now that's because there are the 7 microphones, and you will see which microphone is trying to pick you up based on the coloration of the ring. Now, like I said, everything can be done with your voice command, and I'm going to just start telling you right now that if you do have an Amazon Echo nearby, you may want to mute it if you're listening to this very loudly, because I'm going to say the trigger phrase quite frequently for a little bit. And to start with, I would say, Alexa, ring lights up. Okay, Alexa, volume 4. So there it turned down the volume. And to change the volume, you will have to do it using a numerical value, 1 from 10. You cannot just say, Alexa, turn up the volume. Cancel. You can stop her that, or you could just push the button there, and I'll probably be doing that quite frequently. Now, speaking of power, like I said, I plugged this in. You might be wondering, how much does Alexa... Just going to mute that for a moment so you can see when you mute it, it turns red. So you know that it's muted, whether you think it actually is muted or not. Just know that that should mute it. So going back to power consumption, on standby mode, you're looking for it to use between 1.5 to 1.8 watts. Now, the only time I saw a spike in that was when the LED lights lit up, and that was to 2.5. And generally that's when it's listening for the trigger phrase and so forth. If you think about it, in reality or retrospect, that's not a lot of power for a little device like this to use. Now, if you're playing audio through the device, it will range from 2 watts to 1.8 watts, which again is not terrible. The only problem with audio from this is if you are going to be listening to music, it's going to sound really tinny, almost like you would from a cell phone. If you're just listening to like an audio podcast, then it's not going to be that bad. And quite frankly, I wouldn't mind listening to it through here. But let me give you an example of what musical audio would sound like through here. I mean, actually even going to take my lapel mic and put it next to the Amazon Echo. Alexa, play me rock music.
Here's a station for rock music, hard rock.
I came along for the ride, much happened so fast, hurt so much.
Alexa, stop. So hopefully that comes out. I do have it a little low and cut it really short because I don't want to get flagged for copyright infringement. But let me give you an example of what a vocal station would be. So just a podcast. Alexa, play latest episode of Daily Tech News Show.
Getting the latest episode of Daily Tech News Show. Here it is from TuneIn.
The Daily Tech News Show is brought to you by its listeners, not outside organizations. To find out how you can contribute, go to dailytechnewsshow.com.
Going to be on, and then Len turned into what he calls Doober, which is Dad Uber. He has to drive his kids around all day.
So hopefully that gives you a little example of what the speakers are like. Now, the big thing is, in my opinion, what do you do with the Amazon Echo here once the novelty of it wears off? And what do I mean by novelty? Well, quite frankly, it's Alexa, how high is Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore's elevation is 5,725 feet, 1,745 meters.
Alexa, when is the next full moon?
The next full moon is on Sunday, March 12th at 9:54 a.m. Right now, the moon is waxing. New moon occurred on February 26th.
Alexa, tell me a joke.
What did the dog say after a long day at work? Today was rough.
So aside from really bad dad jokes and very encyclopedic knowledge, which it does do very well, general searches it can do okay as well. The Google Home can do a little better, but I will talk about that later on because I don't actually have a Google Home, so everything I have seen is based on secondhand experience, not firsthand experience. So the big thing for me is after that novelty of encyclopedic knowledge wears off and you stop asking it questions of generic just to see what it says. What do you do with this thing? Well, for myself and my wife, we use it as a omnipotent voice in the sky. Realistically, we had this since November. It is currently March of 2017. We had it since November of 2016. And you've gotten far too used to having this around when you start to go away and try and ask nothing or the air a question. So we pretty much just use this for, basic math questions, things like that, weather, traffic, which you can all set up and have calendar, to-do lists all in here using skills, or some of it is on here by default. But the first and primary reason that I got this was for home automation, because this is compatible with so many different devices. I myself have one TP-Link light bulb, a TP-Link switch, and a WeMo switch, which I've been testing out, and links over there when I get around to actually reviewing them. But that is why I primarily got this. It's also why we picked up two, one to keep in the living room and one to keep in the bedroom. So it has technology that will allow it to discern which one you are closest to so that they both don't try and activate a skill. Now, I currently have the other one muted because it's just around the corner there, and every time I say the trigger phrase, I didn't want it to go off. Now, there are some caveats to be said with the home automation aspect of this, and that is depending on how many things you have on your home automation network, you may run into issues where it picks up two of the same item, so if they're named too similarly, or in my case, when we just were testing the TP-Link plug, it was the only thing on our network, and I can get away with calling it all sorts of different things in order to have it triggered. So here, let me show you what that looks like. Alexa, turn on Christmas tree.
Okay.
Alexa, turn off Christmas tree.
Okay.
Alexa, turn on Christmas lights.
Okay.
Alexa, turn off Christmas lights.
Okay.
Alexa, turn on Christmas.
Okay.
Alexa, turn off Christmas.
Okay.
So kind of funny to watch, and also shows just how long I've been playing with this thing. So for home automation, if you're thinking about something like this, you're looking at having compatibility with Philips Hue lights, TP-Link, ecobee, WeMo, SmartThings, Nest, Wink, Honeywell, and the list just goes on. So after home automation, what is the other thing that you would use this for? Well, in our case, we use it as a means of playing music. Now, you can connect this, like I said, via the 3.5mm plug in the back, or via Bluetooth to a better speaker. Or if you don't mind hearing the tinniness of it, you could just listen from the device itself. It's not going to be great audio, but it's still going to give you okay quality audio. So primarily, when you request that the Alexa, or Amazon Echo here, play you music, it's going to default to Amazon's music player. However, that's not the only thing that it can play from. It can also play from Pandora, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Now you can, using the Alexa app, set which one of these is the primary go-to that it will try to play from first. You can also just tell it where you want to play a song from. So you can tell it Pandora, Alexa, play blah, blah, blah from Pandora, or play blah, blah, blah from iHeartRadio. Actually, here. Alexa, play 97.9X from iHeartRadio.
97.9X on iHeartRadio.
Data rates may
Alexa, cancel. So there you go. You can specify which app it goes to as well, which is kind of nice. Now, the other thing that you can set up using the Alexa app, or even the audio cues from here, is flash briefing, which will allow you to set specific skills to trigger when you tell it to do a flash briefing. In my case, if I say, Alexa, so what it would then do is go through a set of skills, in my case, daily tech headlines, NPR, things to do, business report. So it's a set almost like flashcard, and it will normally get done in 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how many skills that you have set up. Now, the one problem that I have found with the flash briefing is if you have it set to do a flash briefing and then try and trigger one of your automated devices, it will kill the flash briefing. So it doesn't do that with anything else. You can be listening to music and it will pause or lower the music and then do the skill. So it's something to be aware of with the flash briefing. The other main use that my wife and I have for the Echo Dot here is for timers and alarms. So you can set a timer. Alexa, set timer 3 seconds.
3 seconds, starting now.
Alexa, cancel. You can also set a wake up alarm and snooze it very similarly. So those are going to be the things that we personally get use out of this after that novelty phase wears off. It also supports multiple accounts. So right now my wife has an Amazon account and I have an Amazon account, and we can switch back and forth. We don't currently do that because my wife argues with this constantly. She's not 100% on board yet, but she's primarily the reason I got this, because I wanted to automate some light switches in the house. The problem that I feel is that I'm the one who talks to it more often, so it's gotten keyed in on my vocal patterns as opposed to hers. The other thing is I've also limited the network usage, not through the Echo itself, but my Wi-Fi router over there, to only allow it to have 1.5 megabytes per second of usage of the network speed, because once I started adding more home automation devices, my network was taking a hit. I have to increase the network capability that I have. The last big thing that I'll say that you can use the Echo Dot for is ordering products through Amazon, and realistically that is why Amazon keeps the price of this so low. They want it as another mechanism for you to purchase things through Amazon. Now you can set it up to be used as a voice skill where you tell it to order something. You can also track your Amazon packages by telling it, Alexa, where's my stuff? So there you go. It will tell you where your packages are. You can set it so that if you enable voice ordering, that it requires a numerical PIN in order to actually make the purchase. I would highly recommend that, especially if you have children. All right, so I've given you a lot of reasons that I like and use the Amazon Echo Dot for, but there are a few things that I do not like about it. First being, placement of this is very sensitive. There are only a couple of places that are close enough to electrical outlets in my living room and bedroom that I can place this, and currently the one that resides in my living room is pretty much right by my TV. So if I try and trigger it and then there's a TV program going, it will listen to the TV and get confused. It also, if they play Amazon commercials and say the trigger phrase, it will trigger the Echo. Thankfully, I have most of the voice ordering stuff turned off. The other placement issue that I have is in my bedroom. I place this right by a desk fan, which I then turn on overnight to create white noise, which, by the way, great for creating white noise, even with the tinny sound effect. So there you go. We'll also do lullabies and read books to your kids if you want. But when I placed it by the fan, which is pretty much directly under the fan, I figured that the noise cancellation of this would have been able to pick up our voices from across the room. And by across the room, I mean no more than 10 feet. It had a problem with that, so we had to move it. So that is one downfall with the Echo Dot here. You're going to have to consider your placement of it. I also wished that if you had multiple dots or multiple Amazon Echo devices, that you could use one to trigger a skill on another one, or to trigger another one to play music. I can't really do that. It's a small gripe that I have. It's not a deal breaker in any way, shape, or form. Another negative, which was an odd factor, I tried to get the Echo Dot to play a podcast, a specific podcast number on TuneIn. And when I said to play specific episode on TuneIn, it told me it could not do it at this time. And I said at the end, once the light ring went out, well, that sucks. And it said, thank you for the feedback, which was a little unnerving because the ring had gone off and I was not saying the trigger phrase again. So a little creepy at times, but that's, again, one of the balancing acts. It's a pro and a con. It's got a creepy factor because it has the always listening mic and shouldn't be listening unless it is triggered by its wake word. The last big gripe that I have is under the Smart Homes application in the Alexa app, set it fast enough so you didn't trigger, you can group smart home devices together. However, it's an all or nothing where it's either the things are on or the things are off. Now, I grouped the items in my master bedroom, which are a TP-Link light bulb and a TP-Link plug. The light bulb at night gets turned off, and then the fan gets turned on to generate white noise. But I can only turn both items on or both items off. I wish, and if you know that there's a way to do this, please let me know in the comment section below. I wish that I could turn on the light, turn off the light, and turn on the fan. Maybe I have to use IFT, I'm not sure. But again, if you know, let me know in the comments below. So the last bit about the audio of the Amazon Echo, just because, you know, for testing purposes, you do stupid things like this. I tested it against the 7 words you can't say on TV, and it bleeped all of them out except for one, which I'm not going to do here because YouTube might not like the fact that it says one. But just keep in mind, it will beep out swear words. Now, how did I get it to do that? Well, it's very simple. You just tell it to say, Alexa, Simon says. Not perfect, but that's how you get the Dot or any Amazon Echo device to repeat what you're saying. I've been talking a lot about the Alexa app and some of the things that it can do. So I'm going to show you what the app looks like because there's very few videos that I saw that show you what the app interface looks like. And it is an important part of having a Dot because that is going to be one of your primary connected points aside from your vocal cues to utilizing this device. This is the home screen of the Alexa app. Now you can see that down here it shows you the last thing that I was listening to, which you can then play directly from the app itself. It gives you this little interesting things. In this case it was Chuck Norris's birthday yesterday. So it's telling me, hey, it's Chuck Norris's birthday. You can ask your Amazon Echo to tell you a whole bunch of facts about it. And then if we scroll through here, it will show you a listing of all the things that I was doing while I was talking about the Echo Dot on camera. So what you need to know is over here, the 3 hamburger button, by clicking on that, it brings you up to all the settings that you can have for the Dot. You have now playing, music and books, lists, and there's 2 different list apps that are directly connected to the Amazon Echo. You have timers and alarms, so you can manage your timers and alarms right from the app itself. Skills. Now, skills is where the Amazon Echo really shines in comparison to other things. There's a lot of skills, but I'm going to be very honest with you. A lot of them are duplicates of other skills made by different people, and once you find a solid core skill set, you're probably not going to play around in there all too much because a lot of it is garbage. I mean, I'm sorry, it's true. Here, Smart Home, again, because I primarily got this for my smart devices for making a connected home, you can manage your smart home devices. Now see here, I have a master bedroom set with 2 devices, so I can create a group or I can edit that particular group. Now here you can see I have fan, bedroom light, and living room light. These 2 are part of the group. I can rename it if I wanted to, or I can clear it. So Smart Home is where you'll be able to group that stuff. And again, I wish they would allow me to have one turn on and one turn off instead of just both on and off. You have things to try right there, which, you know, it will tell you things that you can test out with your Amazon Echo, which is useful. I recommend going through that because that's where I spent most of my time when I was first learning the Echo. You also have settings, which is just like it says, settings, it will show you a listing of your devices. It will also allow you to set up a new device. And here is where you manage your accounts. So if you have different music accounts, you set them up here. Your flash briefing also set from here. So if I go in here, you can see what my flash briefing is. Daily Tech, BBC, Alexa Things to Try, NPR, and down here, I have NPR Business and today's forecast. Now to turn any of these on and off, you just flick a switch. So if I want to have today's weather turned on, I just flick that switch and it goes back into the list. Now, the latest skill that you add will always be at the top. So keep that in mind. You can edit the order right there. You can select your sports teams. You can select traffic. Now, you only get one traffic alert per account. So this is currently set up for me. If my wife set her account up, she would also be able to get traffic for her job. Likewise with calendar, one calendar per account. Here you have voice purchasing. This is where you would set up the PIN code for that. And further down, it shows my wife's name, so it's asking for other account information. Not going to show you that. And last but not least, you can, ask for help or send feedback, and then log out of my account if it's not you. So that's a quick look at the Amazon Alexa app. With all that said, I will give you my opinion on the Echo Dot series, or the Amazon Echo series versus the Google Home. Now, if you're going to do a one-to-one comparison, Google Home versus Echo Dot, Echo Dot is much cheaper than Google Home currently. The other thing with Google Home, one, it does have better search than Amazon currently, and probably will continue because Google's bread and butter is search, so it will always be better. But right now, Amazon has better integration with home automation devices, and I got this for home automation. You might be thinking about that too, and for the price, I would recommend it. So right now, Google, not so good in the home automation. Google currently also does not support multiple accounts. So you will have to use a single Google Home with one account. You set it up under your account. Your wife might not be able to use it under her account currently. Again, these are as of March 2017. Things might change in the future. The biggest problem that I foresee for Google Home, and as much as I love Google and use Google products regularly, just remember Google Reader. Google gets into phases where they're all about this, and then they drop their products. I mean, look what they did with Google Now on cell phones. Now everything is going towards Google AI Assistant. Well, I have a phone that still supports Google Now cards, and those aren't working so well anymore, or like at all, quite frankly. So just keep in mind, Google's very finicky. They jump from project to project and may not support Google Home in its entirety for however long. Amazon, on the other hand, thinks of this as a metric for you to buy things from them. So they want that. They want to be able to know what you are into, what questions you're asking it. It will be able to better recommend things for you to buy on their website. So I see them putting their money behind this. And that's my 2 cents on Amazon Echo versus Google Home currently. In the future, I may get a Google Home, I don't know. But again, for the price and for what I use it for, Echo Dot all the way. With that said, if you haven't gotten the impression already, I highly recommend, if you are considering home automation especially, getting an Amazon Echo Dot here. Really, if you're looking to dip your toe into home automation or virtual assistants, this is a good starting point. If you wanted to get something more expensive later on, you could, but this is an excellent starting point. So I have been Wanderer 001. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the area below. I know this was a very long video, but I tried to shove a lot of information into one video to give you the most information that I possibly could. So with that said, thanks for watching.